In this episode of Bombay Unbounded, I want to introduce you to Meghna Ghai Puri, the daughter of filmmaker Subhash Ghai, the president of Whistling Woods International, and a mother to two lovely children. I recently spoke to her about the importance these roles have in her life and how she balances them all. We started by going back to Meghna's childhood.
I always wanted to make my parents proud, It was just one of those things that I always had in me, that whatever I do, they should feel proud of me. And my parents always wanted me to have a career. Now, luckily for me, they did not put any kind of pressures on me as to, you have to get into the films or you have to do this. And, my mom used to say, you should become a doctor. It's so cool,
Okay.
So all kind of careers was discussed and spoken about.
Okay. Best thing and most challenging thing about being born into a film family?
The funny thing is that I never, realized that I was born in a film family until I was probably 21, 22, because the kind of environment. My mom's a homemaker, and she's both my parents come from non-filmy backgrounds, so their whole thing was that she should not grow up in a very filmy way. I think until I was 8 or 10, I really thought that my father was the only filmmaker and my studio was ours. So it was like little things like that, because I wasn't even exposed to the whole thing in that way.
But let me ask you here, is there anything negative or anything that you feel is not the right kind of exposure for a child if you're born in a film family and exposed to the film world as a child?
Absolutely not. I think back then my parents, they had that fear that she should know her roots, she should be grounded, and they always wanted that. That was the time when a lot of kids, film kids, were spoiled, were pampered, all that, so they didn't want me to be like that.
An anecdote on a time when you accompanied your dad on a film set, and tell me something about what used to happen back in the day.
I assisted him in Pradesh. So this was my first day as AD.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was given the task of behind the scenes. So I was to take my handycam and shoot behind the scenes. First day of shoot, typically I woke up and my mom said, go at 11 o'clock, you have to take Papa's lunch dabba, so you leave then. And I was like, okay, so I got up around, say, my dad had left, 7 o'clock shift.
Oh God.
I reached there at 11:30, 12, and in front of the entire crew, I got a blasting of my lifetime. And I will never forget that. That taught me such a valuable lesson, because no matter who you work with, whether it's your family, you can't take anything for granted, because there's crores of rupees, invested in a work environment, and so you need to respect that.
Parents, just by being who they are, teach us so much. So, like you said, you wanted to make your parents proud, and at some point your dad must have approached you and asked you to take over and run this film school that you started, Whistling Woods International. Did you have other plans? What was it like?
So I was in London. I had finished studying, and I had, met my now husband and boyfriend, and we had decided that we were going to, get married. And at that point, I had just broken the news to my dad. So frankly, I felt maybe it's a knee-jerk reaction. He just wants me back, and that's why he's saying I'm setting up this big institute. Come back, But he was very serious, and he said, "No, I want you to be the first person to be involved with this project." And I think being the first person to join his vision was the most important thing that I did. It became my baby. It was great for a 21-year-old to be given an opportunity to start up an institute of this size. It's great.
So I read recently Naina Lal Kidwai's interview where she said that we juggle crystal balls and rubber balls, and the two crystal balls are our work, our career, and our families, which we cannot drop. And then the rubber ball happens to be our me time. So I don't know if you agree. And also...
What me time?
Me time?
I've not seen it for 8 years.
So do you feel on that note that you've missed out on something, or you feel these two give you tremendous satisfaction enough to fill your cup?
That balance is so difficult to get, right? And so I think every stage of, your family and your parenting, you kind of discover yourself. You have to follow your instincts. I've had days where I've just broken down and I've just said, you know what, I'm fed up. I'm not Superman and I can't do this anymore. And the kids have realized and they've come crawling to me and given me hugs and said, okay, Mama, it's okay. So I think a lot of the times women don't do that. I think women put up this really, you know, this facade. Brave, and I'm brave, and you know, I'm the strong. And I don't think you should do that. You know, drop your ego. Just say, I need your help.
Whistling Woods has already achieved success. You have already, I'm sure, you know, in the eyes of your parents or in the eyes of the world, achieved significant success as the woman behind, you know, the president of this institute. Now, what does success mean to you, and what is the next milestone?
I think we've achieved a lot, and I really wasn't expecting that we would achieve this much. And a couple of years ago, we didn't even know that we would have this campus, you know. I'm at this stage in my life where, you know, nothing matters more than happiness, you know, nothing matters more than peace and harmony within all of us here at Whistling Woods, at home, in the family. Whenever we've thought in a limited way, something kind of, you know, something that we didn't even expect has happened. So I feel that why even limit yourself, you know? I just don't know what doors are going to open in the future.
I wish you the very, very best.
Thank you.